Well, it's now 26 days until the election on May the 3rd. It's going to seem like an eternity for some of us. The latest Newspoll shows us that Labor is ever so slightly increasing its lead over the coalition. Here's our Sky News reported it this morning.
The ALP's primary vote remains steady at 33%. The coalition's has dropped 1 point to 36. That's its lowest level since June 2024. One Nation's share increased by 1 point to 7%, while the Greens and other candidates, and that would include Teals, they remain at 12. Labor has increased its lead on two-party preferred, 52 to 48 now. The last time the ALP led the coalition by that margin was in May of 2024.
Let's go to the former Labor senator and expert number cruncher, John Black. Good to talk to you again, John. You're really just a flipping of a percentage point between the coalition and One Nation. It doesn't mean a lot, does it? But the really worrying thing for the coalition is that now that the actual campaign is on and you expect attitudes to solidify, there's been no movement at all to the coalition in primary vote terms.
No, look, around about 6 weeks ago, it looked like the coalition was in a very strong position to win majority of the votes and majority of the seats. But in the last 4 to 6 weeks, that position has been stabilised and partly reversed. If you had a look at the Newspoll, you've got to be cautious about any poll that rounds figures up to 1%, Chris, because it could be a difference of only 0.2 or 1%. So I treat that with some degree of caution. It's pretty much a result, as far as I can see, that is pretty consistent with what was achieved at the last election, which means a status quo result in terms of the House of Reps seats. But the one that I've been following more closely is the tangent to the curve as a measure of what's happening this week, and the last week before that has been the Resolve poll, and that shows around about a 2% swing against the government after preferences nationally, and it still shows significant swings against the government in Victoria and slightly smaller swings in New South Wales and also in Queensland. Both of the major parties look like they're down in Queensland. So the election is still there for either leader to be won or lost. But you'd have to say that the last week or so, the opposition leader seems to have lost any sort of sense of discipline in terms of what he's trying to achieve nationally, in terms of the economy, and what he's trying to achieve in terms of winning a majority of votes in a majority of seats. They're somewhat different things. But when it comes to election time, when you're actually in the middle of the campaign, you need to focus on a majority of votes in a majority of seats. And I'm not sure it's evident to me that he's got a clear impression of who those voters are.